Hi, could you state for the record what your name and the date of your birth is?
Full name is Robert Lee Canady, and date of birth 8/10/34. I'm known as Lee Canady because of what I was in business at Lee's Monroe Music.
Okay, that's great. So tell us a little bit about your background, about like where you were born, your parents' names, your siblings' names.
I was born in El Dorado, Arkansas, and my mother was Annie Canady, father Willie Canady, and I have what my sibling. I have like two sisters and a brother. So
Where,
that's all it was.
where are you? Can you take us through the birth order? Who was first? Who was second?
Well, my sister was older, and then I had a brother. He's older than me. Than I was, about a year and a half. However, but I was always more. I'd like took control of my brother. I'd like looked after him and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you were the little brother, but you took care of all of them.
Right. Right.
What's
I was
first
the
name?
boss of the house. You know, like I was. My father and parents and mother, they couldn't hardly count or read. You know, and I went to school a little bit, and I learned, and I would teach them how to do things. You know.
Oh, so were they sharecroppers? Or?
Right. They were sharecroppers.
Where were they? I'm sorry.
In Arkansas, Adderley, Arkansas. I remember that these people had raised my father, and the name was Canady, Kennedy. Somehow my father's name is Canady. So I never did the research to know exactly where we really came from because Kennedy's and Canada's different words, you know. And so, and these people raised my father, and then we stayed there, and they raised me, you know,
The
from
same
there.
people did?
Yeah, well, yes, more or less. But I found out, you know, after all the years that my father died, and before he died, he said I wasn't his. I was belonged to the sharecropper, and I was shocked when I found that out.
That you
So
were his child.
that's what he said. Told my brother, and he never told me that. But I always figured something was wrong. I didn't look like them. I didn't act like I didn't think like. And these people like raised me. They was rich people. Lived on a hill, and I would stay up there all day until they walked. As soon as I go home, we lived on the hill, and they like I like grew up in their house. I was like the one who sit by the door, so I learned things. However, make I fast forward that I know that my father couldn't even count. He would sign his name X,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the biggest sharecropper that year, and we had no money left. And I questioned. That's why I said I took the father. And then I want to know why, because they treat me one way up there, and then again they said be in your own place when the people came around. When I was there with them, I could go all over the house, eat anywhere I want to eat. But when their friend came over, I got to act in my place.
Were these whites?
Yeah, these white people. But however, they was I learned a lot from them. And so that year, we gathered our crowd. We had no money, and he said my dad had borrowed money from all through the year, sign X. So I taught my father how to know his name when he see it, and my mother's name. There's two words he can recognize: his name, how to spell it, how to write it. And that year, I questioned why we had no money, and they made us move. We had to move off the farm because of me. I protested. So I'm just saying, I always been in that way that why can't I? Because someone has had it. And make fast forward when I came here and went into the record business, I worked a lady named Florence Keywell, and
I'm sorry, say her name again?
Florence Keywell.
How do you spell Keywell?
Keywell. They was relative of the people who own Hancock Steel. They own the Metropolitan Building downtown. They own the Henry's Hotel because some of them was in the Purple Gang. One of the brothers was part of the Purple Gang. In fact, George Kent was a Keywell.
George Kent?
Judge
Oh, Judge Kent.
Kent. He was a judge back in the day. He was a Keywell, but he changed his name from Keywell to Kent because he was running for the office. So I worked for his niece. That's how I got into the record business.
Was she part of the Purple Gang too?
No, she wasn't. She was a buyer. She came from New York. That was back in the old days, that was such thing as Purple Gang and the people gang in Chicago. In fact, they made a movie about Valentine's Day. And in fact, there was a movie about the Purple Gang about Valentine's Day where they execute one. And her uncle was one of the Purple Gang. They made a movie. And she told me that he was the one who was on the back of the truck that went down Miles Jury right there on Woodward. We're downtown there. But anyway, that's who I was with in the record business. And we was there from 59, and by 79, she and I divorced. I was part of the business.
You married her?
No, we wasn't married. I just worked for her.
Oh, so you divorced?
Business-wise.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and we had a marriage of business.
Okay.
And we had part of D-Town Records, was owned by Pete Hall. Mike Hank had the Webwood Inn on Woodward. It's a nightclub, and Pete Hall was a promotion man. He came in Detroit, and so that's how we got started in the business.
Well, we're gonna have to backtrack here because we don't know how you got to Detroit. So
You know how I got to Detroit?
Yeah. So wait. You were over here. You got moved off of this land, the
Yeah.
sharecropper.
And so
how old were you around then?
Oh,
Like 9,
about 9 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved to another area. I don't know how they discovered. How did they discover where we live anyway? Because with nobody else around, way down in the woods. I mean, we used to get up and go to school. We'd leave at 4:30 in the morning going to school, and we would have to walk through. We would have to walk through the woods. We couldn't see. We had to take kindling wood with us to light a fire, to dry feet, and all that kind of thing. But we finally moved from there and moved somewhere else. And then.
But you're all still in Arkansas.
And still in Arkansas.
What was big city was near there?
Strong's. They had one street light.
That was the big city?
That's it. And they had a place where the trailway bus would stop, and they had a little small place that the light would go in the back and wait for the bus, and they had a seabird in there. And that's where I used to hear music playing.
What's a seabird?
It's like a machine that you put a nickel in and punch a number and you play your record.
Like a jukebox. It's a jukebox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it was called seabird, and then they went to jukebox. It means the same thing. So then we left there, and we moved to my grandfather's area. Was called a place called Free Union, Arkansas, and it's a little small town community. It wasn't a town community, and so I was going to school, and I was about 15 years old, and I decided that I dropped out of school, and I went to the city.
What school did you drop out of?
Strong, Arkansas.
I mean, that's not the school.
Yeah, it was called Gardner High School.
Oh, Gardner. Okay.
Gardner High School in Strong, Arkansas. Then I went to Washington High School, which is about 20 miles from Strong.
How did you get to school every day?
Well, I moved. I left school from Strong in Colorado and went to El Dorado, and I got a job. And I worked that summer, and then when school started, I got married. I was in the.
At 16?
Yeah. And my mother didn't know I was married. And I was still going to school. And I was going to transfer my grades in the cities I lived in, but they wouldn't let me do that. I had worked all summer, and I had an apartment. I was married. We got married, and we stayed with her mother for a minute. Then we got my own apartment.
What's her name?
Her name was Mary Tatum. And then I worked after school. I worked in a tailor shop on Saturdays. I worked at a hotel. I ran the elevator. I tried being a butler. I couldn't do that because I had to say yes sir, no sir. I couldn't do that. So then I got a job. I always had jobs. I started driving a Rexall drug delivery car. It was a new car, and I was the only person in that town, Blight, that drove a car to deliver medicine. I did all that, and I went to school. When school started, I would thumb a ride, because I couldn't go to school in the city where I living at. I had to go like 30 miles away. But say I knew too much because I was married, I couldn't go to school. But I had my own apartment and was working. So I went back to Strong School. I would catch a ride every day. Then a lady used to come by, she drove a Cadillac, and she would pick me up. And she told me I should write a book then, because I told her what I was trying to do. I had promised my mother I was going to finish high school, and that was the main goal that they wanted us to do, to finish high school. And when she found out I was married, she praised me for being married for the child. I promised I was going to go to school. I worked after school. Sometimes I work all night long, and then I would go to school the next day. And I catch this ride to school. Sometimes I'd be on the back of the truck, it'd be rain, but I made good grades. I was in a play, and till I wrote the congressman there. I just went all avenues to try to say, you can't keep me out of going to school in El Dorado. So finally, they granted me that I could go to school in the city that I lived in with my wife and kid. And
so what did you have? You had a little boy, a little girl?
A little girl.
What was her name?
Her name was Mary Ann.
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann, yes. And so.
What year was she born?
In 52, I believe. She was around 52. And I came out of school in 54. See.
So she was named after your wife?
Probably. Not necessarily. It was someone else that, where I worked at the drugstore, there was a white lady there. She reminded me of Elizabeth Taylor, and where she looked, and I admired her, and I wanted to be somebody, have somebody like that, and I like people like Robert Mitchum. I wanted to act like them. I didn't want to wear the overalls and things like the other people did, my friends. And I would get teased a lot of time with my friends and cousins, whatever. I tried to be white, and I thought that my color was different. I was teased all the time. My hair was sanding red, and I put grease on it, wouldn't lay down, whatever it would be, fuzzy. And so, and that's why the point that I believe that what my father said, he should know, and then down there, nobody know who your parents are, because you don't know what they did. And I used to wonder what they did to our people. And just like the senator in, I think, Ohio, he was prejudiced, blocked every rule that we could get for his segregation. Strom Thurmond.
Strom Thurmond?
Right, and he has a daughter.
Yes, a
so
black daughter.
Same thing. Same thing. And we don't know that, and they're not going to tell anybody. No. But I was different from my way of thinking. I didn't think like the rest. I wanted education. I went to school. I don't know how to read. Like I said, I taught my daddy how to write his name so they don't sign X, because anybody can sign an X.
That's right. And
so, I learned the Constitution and understand when we recite every day. And, I still have issues today about even the policemen here. They try to discriminate. And like I told the policeman, I ride to school and I ride in the street. I ride just like a bicycle. I have a right to the street. And they say, why are you riding in the street? Because I want to. I have freedom to. That's one thing I told a black officer down in Greektown. I says, I marched with Martin Luther King right down Woodward.
Oh, yeah, when he was here in '63?
Right, when he did I marched and marched. And when I was downtown on Monroe in the 50s, very few black police officers. Okay, right. And the one that was down there, I knew them. Right. If they worked all in the city, because they write tickets, they had to come downtown for court on a Monday, and they would come in the store and look at the problem and get to know everybody. I was on the black being in the position I was downtown, so they wanted to know you. Say I know that person. You see, and so and then he tell me that I told him, I said, one thing, I get upset, I respect your badge and your uniform. But if you try to uh, violate my civil rights, civil liberty, it's upset me. Because I marched you to have this job. And I got out of my school and rode off.
So let's talk about when uh, um, you finally dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
At 16.
Uh-huh.
So what was in your mind then? You had a daughter, a wife.
Right.
You had jobs.
Right.
And school wasn't cutting it for you. Why did you leave school?
School was cutting it for me. I wanted to stay in school, but I had a wife to take care of, and I couldn't. And so I got the job delivering medicine, driving a cab at Rexall. And then those are the kind of job I would get. And by getting those kind of jobs, it was teaching me how to count and do business, and all that kind of thing.
Oh.
Then I put my age up and drove taxi. Cab.
Oh, you said that you were 18 and you were still 17 or something?
Right. And I drove cab, and I would drive like at 3 o'clock, 3:30, school get out. My relief man, our relief driver, he would be at school, and I'd sneak out. My last class was typing. I taught myself how to type, and then I took some lessons. And I would type, because I typed at home, on my brother's typewriter. And then I could type real good, fast, and do my homework, turn it in, excuse myself, and go to the bathroom, and never come back. I get in the cab, and when school is out, I'll be back there and pick up a load of kids. And then I drive 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and be at school the next day. And then I had jobs I got off at 7 at night, 7 in the morning, and be at school at 8 something. I leave work and go to school and made my grades. I've always worked because I had a family to take care of. And that taught me how to
be a man.
Right. And then when I came here, I wanted to leave there because I wanted to do better. My parents, my family, why are you leaving? Because I want to go. Well, it's good enough for us. I've been here all my life. Why are you going to leave and go to Detroit?
What made you want to go to Detroit?
I didn't want to be, I want to be freedom. I didn't like to say yes sir, no sir. And
Up north had that appeal.
Right. I remember when I was working at a butler, this people come in the hotel and they rang a buzzer at the back door, and there was a guy who worked there named LJ. He would run back and slide and grab the man bag and shuffle, and it's like shining shoes. The light you pop the rag, the more tips you get. I couldn't do that. So I picked the man luggage and carried it to his room, opened it up, got the picture, and got him some water, and he took a $4, it was silver dollars those days, and he thumped up in that, and when he thumped it up for me, I looked at it. It went up, it fell, and I went and picked it up and told him thanks and walked out. He reported me.
Why?
Because I didn't shuffle.
But you said thank you, and that's all. He wanted you to.
I wasn't grateful. Some way he said it, because I was supposed to, and you catch it.
He wanted to show.
I didn't do that. I couldn't do that. See, that's what I said. I wanted to leave. He
reported you.
Yes. And so he lectured me, and I didn't get fired, so I transferred from there to operating the elevator. That's how I got the elevator job. I went in as a butler.
I see.
And then, but I stayed at the hotel, and I would get off at 7 a.m. in the morning and be at school at 8:30, do my work. And I did that, and then I made good grades, and I finished high school.
So did you hear something about how you were in Arkansas? What made you want to come to Michigan?
Well, I had an aunt and an uncle live here.
Oh, what was the aunt and uncle's name?
And Scipio McDaniel, my mother's brother, and then also my baby sister would live here, and my classmate Ruby. They had came here too before me, and I came to live with them. And I got here on like 31st of last of January. Let's see, just before New Year's, because the store when I got here, my sister was babysitting for a couple, and this guy was like he wasn't a boss, but he had a little authority. Had been working for this man for a long time on the stores out in Allen Park. It was called Zocowers, okay? And we had a store in Plymouth, Delray. He had about 3 or 4 stores.
How do you spell that one?
His Zolkowers, Zolkwrs, I think. But his name was Myers, Zolkowers. And so during that Christmas, they had about 5 white guys who worked at the store. Because in Allen Park in those days, black wasn't out in Allen Park. Okay? And because they all got fired for stealing. So that guy my sister babysat for, he came by that Saturday and he says, look, be ready Monday morning and I'm going to take you out here and get about getting you a job. He drove me, took him on the way to work out to Allen Park. I left my car here in Detroit. And he got out there and he convinced that guy to give me that job.
What kind of store was it?
It was a department store.
Okay.
But I did the work that 5 people did.
So
okay?
you sold?
No, I didn't sell. No, I was janitor. I cleaned the basement. I had to go get layaways and mop the floor at a big store. I was doing the work that 5 guys did for 90 cents an hour, okay? And then this guy, he was to send me to the store. I'm mopping the floor. He wanted to go to the drugstore and get me a toast. I don't want it so and this and that. However, he come back, he look at it, ain't right. Take it back. I was like, and it'd be cold like below 0. I never seen this cold before, because down there, we didn't have a top coat. You didn't have antifreeze in your car. You know, you drain it if you got cold tonight, you know, back in the day. And this guy did me that way. Anyway, I kept the job, and I worked, and he drained me. I would go home, I'd be so tired. And so, that guy, now I'm out in Allen Park, I couldn't come back home, so he gave me the job. But anyway, I worked there for about 1.5 years, and this guy opened a store downtown on Clinton by the police department called a government employee store, okay? And only people could shop there were government employees, that kind of thing. You get a discount.
Was it like a uniform store?
It's like this big store, you go by big groups of things. What you call them? Warehouse stores, you go and buy big thing.
Oh, like big stores.
Yeah. Well, down there, only people that shop in the store was government employees, city employees, or whatever. And anybody else shopping, you got to pay a dude or something like that.
It's like Sam's Club.
That's what I'm saying, like Sam's Club. So this guy, white guy, they trusted me so because I did more work out there. They needed somebody to come there. He wanted you to wear a white shirt, a tie, and some black pants, and all I had to do was come down there about 4 in the morning, meet a group of people, and let them in the store. They trust me. It's a big store there on Clinton, Harbor Lights, right there on Clinton there. And I tell you who worked there, Lorenzo Wright. He got the Harvard Trophy winner back in the day. His wife was a receptionist. And we got to be friends. And that's how I got to be Monroe Music. Because these people in this store was all leased. I got records, you got whatever, it's leased by different departments. Okay? And so, but it's all in this store.
Right.
And this lady, Florence Kewell, had a store by big as this room, not a store, you know, a little section. Little area. She had greeting cards, whatnots, candles, stuff like that. And somebody induced her to get records. And she got some Bobby Vinton, the kind of stuff in the area of that way.
Sure. Now,
okay.
What year? Like, give me a.
That was in about 58.
Okay.
Something like
Your
that.
Your daughter was like 6 years old.
Yeah, because I left her in Arkansas. My wife and I got divorced. Okay, I just paid her.
You didn't bring them to Detroit with you?
No. I divorced my wife. We were both as young at the time, you know, and I took her to the prom. My wife, I was the only guy, you know, I was like the talk of the town. This guy's married. He's got a wife, got his own apartment. You know, people down there very poor. If you got a sucker to suck on today, a penny sucker. They didn't have no money. But see, I always had money because I always worked.
Right, right.
See, and then when I lived at home with my parents, I don't remember my parents buying anything. I remember I asked my dad, I wanted a little wagon. He bought me a little wagon. I saw them as I got old. They would be 99 cents on the top of the resin, had candy in them. Like that. I wanted a cowboy pistol. Boom, boom, boom. He bought me a little cowboy pistol. You got to, every time you put a cap in, boom, you got to take it out and put another cap in it. That's how poor we were. Those white people, they took care of me, bought me everything that I needed.
You must have been related to them.
Well, that's what my dad said. And she would take me everywhere she go. And I remember she took me into the, down there, white people, they like apple pie and chocolate pie. Okay, that's the thing. Apple pie and chocolate. It's just white people, Southern.
Southern people.
Okay, apple pie and chocolate pie. Because you raise your own apples anyway, So we went in this restaurant. It was a white restaurant, says, and black had to go in the back. She had me by the hand. We in the city. And she said, give him a slice. She said, give him a slice of apple pie. She said, I remember that. We don't serve niggas in here. She said, oh, come on, give it. She's like, oh, come on, we're going to take it with us. They gave it to her over the counter. And I never will forget that. I was a little kid. She hold my hand when we walked downtown. And people looking, you understand? That's the way they did me all that time. So I ate at the table, and he would sit me in his lap and listen to this radio. You know how the old radio used to look?
Oh, yes, like a cathedral.
Right. And he would always sit me in his lap and have a rocking chair, and he would rock, and we listened to the boxing, Joe Louis and Mike Smellin, and I'd be sitting in this white man's lap. And he called me preacher. I had big, and I'm red, and I didn't know the reason why. But they raised me, and
what were their names?
Her name was Norma, and
Norma Canady?
Norma, damn, I can't think of the name now. But damn. I tell you the name in a minute.
Yeah,
but anyway, I used to think about, we used to want to see them. I know, and I remember one time, our dog, we had to keep our dog chained. Now they had a big white house, had all kind of, they had the plumbing, they had the electricity, anything you have in the city in the house. A big barn across the street with all kind of horses, not a lot of horses, had a lot of mules. Because they was working mules.
All right.
Yeah. I didn't like to work in the field. I work in the house. You see what I'm saying? And I watch this. That's why I hate housework now, I guess. And but anyway, yeah, I do believe that. And like I said, they were rich people. But now getting back what I was saying about in the city, I go back and forth. But where I learned things that.
But you divorced your wife.
I divorced her because we was little, and
Because you were what?
We was young.
Oh yeah.
And she was, she wasn't even 21, I don't think. We got married and because it wasn't a shotgun wedding, but I did it because I thought it was the thing to do. Okay. And so when we broke up, I married because I wanted my child to be born with a father. Okay. So when we broke up, her mother had a lot of kids. And I didn't want my daughter over there because flies and whatever, eating off the floor. That's the way they did back then. I didn't want that because I done went to school. I know it's dirty. Can't blow it off. It's dirty. You understand what I'm saying? And so I convinced my ex-wife, we got a divorce. I said, look, let me raise the child, and I get my mother, and my mother don't have no children, small children. My sister was just a couple years older than me, you see. And I said, my mother would take care of her. We raised, I buy her clothes and everything. You don't have to worry about anything. And she did it.
She agreed.
She agreed, okay? And then when I came here, I left my mother with my daughter, but I sent money and clothing.
Yeah.
And see, and every summer we tag her and she come and spend the summer with me. I was married again, but she always my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't divorce my daughter to this day. Okay, and so, but I'm just saying, and that's what happened on that. That's why, and I don't regret it.
So you married again when you came to Detroit?
I married there, another lady there, and I brought her here, and we was married for about 10 years, and then.
What was her name?
Her name Isabel. Isabel. Isabel was my second wife, and then we had a child. We divorced.
Was your child's name with her?
Her name is Karen. Karen, she's Beaver now. In fact, she's working just today. I think she started working in the mayor's office. She worked for planning and development. She's the secretary, and they transferred her over to the mayor's office today. They were doing it yesterday, and I guess she's there today. She called me a minute ago. I told her I'd call her later. But anyway, and she's done good. And then after we stayed, I got married again. This next year, when we had a child.
What's her name?
Her name is Krista.
What's the wife's name?
Her name is Corley. Corley got married in
How do you spell Corley?
C-R-L-E-Y. I met her at the record store.
Oh.
Okay, but see, my wife with Isabel, when I came here, she didn't relate to.
City life?
Well, I'm trying to be white. You understand? You know, and I would try to correct back language and try to do whatever. Because I didn't sit on the tree and drink 40 ounce. In fact, I never tasted 40 ounce. You know, I didn't do that kind of thing. Some people do things because of the thing they do. Like, I remember back in the day when they had a jacket that said 45 and turned right on the back, everybody had one. Remember when it came out the burgundy pants, everybody had the burgundy. He roused them out. What you had? I had on burgundy. Just like that. I'm not into that. I'm content in my own skin. And I've always been that way. And because I did to try to correct my English or whatever.
She didn't like that. She thought you were trying
to. Well, most people don't do that. They think like that. We people, as a people.
Yeah.
You see, like my name is Robert Lee Canady, but when it sounds, they say I changed my name. I try to change my name. That is my name. It's my middle name. See, and that started from the store. Because my manager, who I didn't like out there running to get the toes and stuff, his name was Robert also. When they called him on the PA system, Bob Robert, we both would answer. So we said we got to do something about that.
So you start calling yourself Lee when you're working out at Allen Park.
Right, before I got into the record business. So I came here, started working the second, third day after I got here, right? So then your name is Lee. So everybody, I meet in the city of Detroit, what's your name? Lee Canady. Lee Canady. Because it's knowing when somebody arrives, you don't know who to answer to sometimes. And then, like I know Little Raw and I would be together, hanging out, and people say, hey, Robert's from on down. He said, why do you call you Robert? Then you got to explain why. And everybody said, why do you call you Robert? I thought your name was Lee. Well, this is why. And so I just said, my family still won't call me Robert. I mean Lee.
They won't call you Lee.
They said, well, I've been calling you Robert all this time, and I says, look, you just moved from one place to another, you don't get back your old address. You get a new phone number, you don't forget to get your old phone number. So that's lying to me. I mean, I said, don't on my head and tell me it's raining. You get it? Yeah. Don't on my head and tell me it's raining. But that's all I'm saying. So I had issue with that. So I've always had the issue. Problem with people always criticize me of my way of thinking, and even to my success.
And that's what Isabel did
what Isabel did, and so she wasn't good for me. Then, but I started in the record business, and I learned from Florence Keywell. Okay, and like I said, we didn't know anything about the records. In fact, records wasn't out then, wasn't on the radio. Like I remember that Christmas we over up in business downtown, she and I. Well, Lorenzo Wright, why she wanted her to move over there with her. So she asked me to help her move, and I helped her move. And Lorenzo Wright's wife, I can't think her name, she didn't take the job. So she asked me would I stay. And she said, look, I don't know nothing about mute records. Said, but if I make it, you make it. And then she gave me uh, she's gonna give me $45 a week and a half percent of what the business store take in. And everybody, you taking that job, you could get that during conversation. And back in the days, those days, it says, "What are you doing?" "I'm patting Turner." "What's patting Turner?" "Patting the street and turn the corner." Our people had a mindset that I worked 30 days on a job and I quit and draw compensation.
Oh, that's
Now, see, I know we
they didn't
got.
build anything. They
I
didn't build
understand it,
anything.
but I know the Republicans got set up on a lot of things about the 1%. I mean, the 47%. There's a lot of them. That's where the project came from. You know, the parents on welfare, they got to be on welfare, and it goes on down the line. There's some people like that, but everybody's not like that. See?
It's like a sharecroppers mentality. They brought
Right,
up from down south.
right.
They weren't ambitious.
Right, they weren't ambitious, and so if you try to do anything except doing what that you're trying to buck the system, and that's what I was always about. See?
Well, when you got this business with Florence Keywell,
Mm-hmm.
who was the mayor of the city
Co-
then?
I think
It was
Gibb, Roman Gibbs,
Roman Gribbs?
Gribbs.
Oh,
Who was before him?
let's see, who was it before
It
him?
was somebody back in the time. It was 58, 58, 59.
That wouldn't have been Roman Gribbs. That would have been.
It was somebody before him, I think. Romney?
Let's see, it was Louis Miriani.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Albert Coho, he died in office,
Mm-hmm.
and Miriani was the acting mayor for
Mhm.
the remainder of his term,
Mhm.
and then he was elected in 1958.
Mm-hmm.
But he was defeated for re-election by Jerome Kavanaugh.
Right.
Okay, so
Uh-huh. So I went all through those years, you know. And then and people thought we was crazy. So anyway, 1%. So now I took shelving paper and I made before I signed, rolled it down on the wall and put number 1, 2, top 10 records.
oh, okay, because you was showing where did you get the top 10 from? How
Well,
did you know what were the top 10?
Well, what I liked, what I thought was groovy,
Oh,
you
so
know.
you picked the top 10.
Yeah, we picked it up then because
Oh, okay.
she didn't know nothing about black music.
Oh, okay.
She knew about the white music, like it was I can't call his name, Bruce, those kind of people. I shouldn't say those kind of people, but you know what I'm saying. Back in the day, like the guy over in New Jersey, what's his name? The guitar player.
Oh, Bruce Springsteen. You're not wrong, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, him too. Well, they was just coming on the scene. The Surfing Brothers. I mean, what you call it? Beach Boys.
Oh yeah. So she had stuff like that.
Well, who know?
And you covered the black music, and she covered the white music.
Right, but I'm just saying when we went in there, about she being the owner, that's what she put in the store.
Right.
She don't, and so she doesn't know about this other stuff. And just a few, somebody told her to order when she's at the government employee store. Okay, and that's how they got started. And I remember Hank Ballard, Midnight, that was during this time, and we were.
Country and western.
It was country and western down there. That's all you hear on the radio. Sometimes you would get some muddy waters out of Nashville in the South,
Okay.
but you know because they had a chitlin something like you
A
went.
chitlin circuit.
Yeah, that's what they call it, you know, back in the day. Like, the people get in cars and they go from one town to the next town. And down in Washington, they can go in the front to get the rest of it. And jazz, the same thing, see. I remember they come through, Little Richard came through our city, and he was on the bus, you know. And he danced on top of the piano. And little old Chuck ain't much bigger than this, you know. Little Richard, you know.
Yeah.
And he wasn't nobody, but see, we came a long ways. And then this guy in Cleveland named Alan Freed, he played black music. And they didn't want him, he was a disc jockey. He went to jail. In fact, he's in that Little Richard film story, Little Richard. And because white people thought black music was, they called it screw-in music. That was it was, screw-in music. We don't want our kids to watch it. You see what I'm saying? And so it was back, that way it was back in those days. And we started put the top 10 up there, and there was a bus stop in front of the store.
Oh Lord.
Van Dyke bus.
Was this in the Black Bottom area?
No, this is downtown on Monroe, across the street from the Hard Rock Cafe.
I thought that Black Bottom extended all the way down to Jefferson.
Well, Black Bottom.
So that was not considered part
This
of
is Black Bottom out here.
Right, where we are on Antietam and St. Alban.
This is always Black Bottom, called Black Bottom, see.
But Monroe was not part of Black Bottom.
No, Monroe was down there by Woodward, and by the, you know where the ice skating rink is?
Yes.
The Hard Rock Cafe? Across the street.
Oh, okay.
It's a parking lot now.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. I was down there, and this Jewish lady, she was there, but see, I wasn't the person out front. And so we had to do something different, because the people thought we was great. She had a cigarette holder, long cigarette holder.
This was Florence Keywell?
Yeah. And I showed you some pictures of her. And she always had a cigarette holder, different color, some shiny stuff in it, like diamonds. And that was her thing. And she didn't have she couldn't dance. But
she had no rhythm.
No rhythm. And in fact, few white people had rhythm then. You know, they danced over here over V. But now you can't tell. But back in the days, there was a difference, okay? And I had music, a box on outside the store. Music was playing.
Oh, okay.
And people waiting for the bus.
Would hear the music.
And they come in, I get that. And I sell them something there. And they started coming to the store. And then to another thing, our store was discount. We were the first store in the state of Michigan, black music, that sold discount records. There was a store called Discount Records in the Book Cadillac Hotel. It says Discount Records, but when you go in the record store, you get show tune. Show tune was big in those days, you know.
Musicals.
Music, that's what was big in those days, okay? And Frank Sinatra, you know, he always sell that kind of stuff. But who would he sell it to? He wasn't selling to us, you see? And so I'm just saying, when you want a black record, ask for a black record, he'd reach on the counter, because you want to see the album. Well, he reach on the counter, he'd give you an empty jacket. Wouldn't be no record inside the album. Why? You might run out of the store and not pay for it. You see, there's all kind of stigma went on in those days, okay?
So they thought black people were going to steal from them.
You evidently. It would be an empty jacket, wouldn't be no album in it. And it would be full price. Because I used to go down to that place myself and ask for records in those days to see what they had. Because I would go to different stores and browse and see what's going on. You see what I'm saying? She had me, that's what I learned from her. And we learned together. And then we started specializing selecting, saving, and jazz. Let's see, our customer selection, saving, and this is the book. So anyway, and saving, and the people started coming in word mouth to mouth. They had so they come in like they like Miss Keywell because she seemed like she was prejudiced. At that time, you know, black people were scared. Okay, and white people, you couldn't go through Dearborn after sundown because you're gonna get stopped by the police.
Right.
You couldn't go to Groves Point, driving down the road run because you're gonna stop by the police. Right. But you see, I never had those issues. I went all those places and never was stopped. Never ever.
Why do you think that was?
I didn't have the swagger, as they call it. You couldn't be stereotyped. You know, if you see the walk, they know who you are. I'm just still saying. You can't go with that. And that's the same way today. I don't have no problem today. And the only time I used the N-word, was when I was getting that pie. And I was a little kid. Right. I don't be around just for my us out here. I'm just reality, okay? And and that's how I got started in the record business, and I went from there. And so, okay, now in order to be recognized, you had to buy direct from the manufacturer. And they had three: RCA, Columbia, and WEA was Atlantic, and Asylum is called WEA, W-E-A, okay? But those were the big record company, okay? Now, like you said, the world is controlled by whoever, but why can't you get records on the radio? There were 300 and some records, I recall, were released each day. Okay? Now, you can only play top 10. Some stations top 15. Then they went to the top 20. That's the way they started. Okay?
And they went to 40 later.
Went to 40 later. Okay? And so, the more, okay, how many records can you play? A record got to be so many long.
Minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes long.
Yeah. And then you got to divide it, and then the records play each day until they take it off. Well, if you get up there, that's why they come to me. Because anything is called promotion. They get your record on the air. They take you to dinner. They do whatever.
That's what they would. So you would carry their records in the shop, or?
Well, if you buy direct from the manufacturer, you have to carry everything they manufacture.
Oh, you had to carry their whole catalog.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And that's why mom and pop stores, they call them, couldn't do that. First, you got to have credit. And we didn't have credit. You got to operate on private and law statement. Whatever the statement are, they didn't qualify for it. But me, I want to know, how did I get over that hump? You tell me this is the procedure, then I follow procedure if I want to get there. So I bought direct from the manufacturer, and they gave me empower to list records on the radio, on the station. And they call me, Beatles, when they make a record, they have called me from England. They want to know what I'm selling. Why? Because they're trying to appeal to black music, black listeners.
Right.
Okay? And then the black listeners trying to appeal to the whitey audience, which is white. And so on the way you get there, you got to go to CKW. Because what you play, like you play on WCHB, you can be number one. And you never get on the charts. Because...
a black radio station?
Yeah, but if you come to the east side, you lose the signal.
Oh, the signal was that tiny?
Yeah, you lose before you get to the leader. Because I used to go to like go in Chicago or go down south, and we always listen to black people. What you do? Listen to Franny Ronnie Durham, whoever on Franny Ronnie Durham. You know, he had a white Cadillac in the process. He was light, and his secretary young, and people thought, oh, that be down on 12th Street. All you hear is WJLB Ernie Durham. He be talking, rhyming.
Yes,
and then
I remember Ernie.
And then he ride down 12th Street in his Cadillac convertible. There you go. How you gonna be on the radio? They didn't know that he had pre-taped it early. I'm just talking about that was the beginning.
Right.
And that's who you listen to, those stations. And so you lose it when you go to some place on the east side. You go to Bel Air, you done lost your channel. We be mad, you know, because that's the group.
Yeah,
that's the group, right? We don't want to hear Bobby Vinton, Bruce Strand, and he on another channel. You see what I'm saying? So every now and then something come. Then that was Sam Cooke. Oh, and Jackie Wilson. Repetit, you know, and and then they had the Super Sales show and all that kind of stuff. That all helped the music industry.
Super Sales would play black music?
Yeah. You know, sometimes you have a black artist on there do something,
right.
you know, and so that's how we got started. So that's what I said, the important for us, that I had to be in the record business by buying the record, and I got to meet people like, say, Nancy Wilson. Well, Nancy Wilson had 3 albums out. We got these records, you got to put them in your store, and your money's tied up. So I'm looking and saying, wonder what she sound like, 'cause she's a beautiful lady. I never heard of her. In those days, people come in the store, just look at the pictures on the record. Look at Diana Ross, look at her hair, look what they're wearing.
They would buy the record because of how the person looked?
Right, the album meant something. You know, and Barry Gordy, to get his record played, he had to take black off the album, remember?
Oh, yes, right. He would have white.
Right, because when someone says the black players, just put it aside automatically, okay?
Wow.
And so you got to listen at it first. And a lot of artists came out, and we didn't know what to do with Earth, Wind & Fire. We didn't know this was black.
Oh, wow.
And Maze.
Maze, yeah.
Yeah. We thought there's a white band and a black guy in there. We didn't know who it was because his picture wasn't on that. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how hard we had to get things started.
Yeah.
And so...
put the people on the music, and then they could show them.
Yeah. And Nancy Wilson, okay, LeBaron Taylor. What, you know who LeBaron is?
Wait.
He went to CBS and he was uh, what was he was in marketing. He had a big job up there. In fact, he came here. I remember he came here. He was very poor. He just got into business, and we met down on Woodward there, and at where they did record wholesale at, and he was a disc jockey, and no, before he was a disc jockey here, he was an engineer.
Oh, okay. So he really was.
He started as an engineer,
Right.
and so somebody was late getting to work.
And he had to step in.
Yeah, he put a tape in. Tape went out and put the other tape in. It went out, then he had to speak. So Miss Kewell, she was advertising on that station for the whole. She advertised for a jazz program, whatever. And so that was something big for a record store to sponsor that show.
Are you talking about like Jack the Bellboy? Ed McKenzie?
Well, I can't.
You on CKLW? What radio?
Well, I'm talking about CHB right now.
Oh, WCH.
Yeah, like Butterball, you know.
Oh, yeah, Butterball, right.
Well, I'm the one that got.
Jr.
We got to the record, played the floater. Float, float, float on.
Right.
I got it broke for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sold him his first Cadillac.
You selling cars?
No, I used to get a new car every other year.
Oh, okay.
So I had a 75 Eldorado, and it looked like brand new. And I had ordered a 77 Seville. I ordered mine, put everything I wanted on it, you know. And so they called me, your car's in. So Butterball had told me he wanted to buy it. I called him, I said, man, my car's in. You still want the car? He said, yeah. I took it to him where he lived. And sure did. And he'd tell you I saw him, started him driving Cadillac. I saw him not long ago. Now I understand he's rich and got an island. Yeah. And then you know what he did? You know, he one bought cable in here with Don Barton.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
They was the one who bought cable. And then I'm down on my luck. Now I sold him this Eldorado. I gonna tell it on it. Sold him this Eldorado, and he like $3,000 having the money. He said, man, give me such a time. I said, okay. Let him have the car. The first payment was kind of shaky, but he paid it. He paid for it. Now, I'm down on my luck. I need to go in the hospital. My insurance is expired because my business is closed. And they getting cable coming into town.
Right, so he's rich.
You know what he told me?
What?
Put in an application.
Application for what?
The job. I'm going to get a job with him at the cable company.
Oh, I
Can you get me something? I'm just trying to get some money, get some insurance. I got to go in the hospital.
And he told you to put an application in?
Yes.
What's the matter?
That's what he did to me. That hurt me really bad. I never forget. I was down on my luck, and what happened is, when I closed my store, the city was giving me $10,000.
Siblings?
The city.
The city gave you $10,000.
Gonna give me $10,000 when I turn the key in, because I'm renting from the city. Right. They said, we're going to close this down. We're going to tear it down, y'all got to move.
Right.
$10,000. When will I get it? 3 weeks after you. Yeah, some people gave 3. The highest you could give was 10,000. The most you could give was 10,000. I got the maximum because I qualified. They would. And when will I get it? 3 weeks after you turn the key in. I turned the key in. You know when I got my money? 18 months later. Now during that time, I need to go through operation, go in the hospital, and receive won't take me till I had too much assets. Well, I had sold a house on a land contract. They ain't paid me yet. The receiver said, if you pay me, sign the house over to us, the hospital, we'll put you in for test. And what's left out of it, we'll give it back to you. What's going to be left out of it, you know? That's what happened. So, and then I go to Butterball.
Say that again now.
I had paid tax on $50,000 a month. You know, that kind of business. I had 13 employees at one store and 3 at another.
Okay. So you had more than one Lee's Music?
Yeah, I had one avenue of fashion. I was going to get to that.
Oh.
Yeah, at least called Lee's Monroe 2, T-O-O.
And that was on Livernois.
Livernois
Near 7 Mile.
Yeah, you know what the Social Security? Right next to the Social Security. There's a cleaner right on the corner. I drive. Jacob used to be across the street. Jacobs. Remember that store, nice store, Jacob? And then Jacob, and that's Jacobson.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where I was. But
So you had 13 employees.
yeah.
So you were paying for they were downtown and at the Livernois
Right,
Avenue
right.
Fashion
I had
Shop.
3 Avenue of Fashion. See, but they know all didn't work one time. Got to release somebody. You know what I'm saying? Got I over for 99. See.
Right.
And but anyway, when the city gave me the money, it was 18 months later. Okay. Now I owed taxes. So you know what happened? They got the money first.
Right.
I had $744 left.
$704.
44.
$744.
left. But I had a stack of records. I had records. I had them in storage. I'm just saying that's what went down. And then I got to the point. I went through a divorce at the same time, and I said I don't want to do that.
Who was this that you divorced?
Her name is Camille. You probably know her, don't you? Camille. She was around back in the day. That's her. Like, she up there, somewhere up there. Anyway, she was around during the time with Kenny Cross, Harold McKinnon, Willie Bowler. You know Willie Bowler?
Oh yeah.
Well, Willie Bowler used to date her.
But I didn't.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Back in the day when we hung together, she worked at Hudson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Hudson's was pretty exclusive.
Yeah, she worked at Cosmetics. She was real light, but Warden Gang, you saw her. And I just thought, maybe you know Willie Bowler. But anyway, we married and we went through a divorce, and so then I went through all the aggravation. I just said I don't want to do it no more,
Yeah.
And I had a big house. I put all this stuff into my house. My basement. It was really nice, like a nightclub down there. And
What street were you on?
San Juan and 7 Miles, 3 doors and 7 Miles. I sold the house. I had bought the house and I sold it. But I'm just still saying I just didn't go back in business. Cause by yourself, again, where you can't trust nobody. It ain't like it used to be. I was paranoid. I couldn't take all, and so I was always confined there.
So what happened to Florence Keywell?
She decided she had a store out on called Record Outlet. It was out at Main Street, Royal Oak, with her nephew, and she just like retired. She confined to that store and retired. And so I just reopened because I was always part of the process in the beginning.
So you knew how to run things anyway.
I was in the beginning. Everybody thought I owned the store because Miss Keywell, she had a swagger by her that she's a fun lady. I'm going to show you some pictures at a while. But she had these funny shoes, and they were very expensive. And they looked like boats, but they was light. And but she always dressed nice and had a cigarette holder. And then she wasn't prejudiced, and people came in there, and like Lou Rawls, the Wayne Ember, like the basketball player, Boston Celtics, they hung in the store. New York, Nick, when they come in town, they stay right down the street.
At the hotels?
At Sheridan Cadillac Hotel.
Sheridan.
You know, it's right down the street from where I was. So naturally you want to see what Detroit when you wake up. And that was Monroe, the music playing out loud and people in there. And it's always like party, like a party.
Yeah.
And the plants hanging down and incense burning. Got the, it was a weird store like the papers, all kind of papers, cigarette papers. That thing was legal, pipes and stuff, And it was just a place to be. I had 3 cash registers, one in the front, one in the center, and one in the back. That's how busy I was, okay? And I sold black lights, posters, black light posters, incense. You just named it, like stuff like that. Jewelry, costume jewelry, and I made my logo up. It was on everything, and I sell matches, keychain. It's just a fun store to be, And I was doing really, really good. But things just went down, and I never got back up from it. I didn't want to go back into. Well, things changed anyway.
Well, like I said, when you say things went down, what was the causes? What was the city doing then?
Well, downtown, they say if you leave downtown, cut the lights. Back at 5 o'clock, all the traffic going out from downtown, you could ride a bicycle. I could get on my scooter and ride the other side and come downtown. Nobody would come behind me coming downtown.
Right.
That's how it was then. And then the city just changed. But getting back to Nancy Wilson, I got this tune, Guess Who I Saw Today, on the radio. because LeBaron Taylor, like I said, we sponsored the show, and when the person didn't get there, he put the tape in. He had to speak, so everybody want to know who that voice. Our customer.
They liked it.
Who was that voice? So Miss Kewell, she called. Well, we was friends to Bell, who owned the station.
Right,
We used
the
to
Bell
party.
family.
Yeah, they used to live right down there. We used to be down there party with them. You know, I would come down there. They had certain people who stuck together those
Haley
days.
Bell and Mary Bell.
Yeah, and they got LeBaron
To be a DJ.
DJ, and we sponsored. Okay, and the guy that I tell you who was our salesman from there, he just died. He ran the Michigan Chronicle.
Longworth Quinn?
No, he smoked the pipe. He ran the Michigan Chronicle. Damn.
We'll find out.
Well, he was a salesman.
Okay.
And the other guy that used to sing with your husband, what's his name? The singer, older guy, sang jazz. He used to be at Bomax all the time. He was a disc jockey. He was a salesman for CHP, so advertising.
Okay.
And he went on. He's up there with Burke's. I mean, he's
Burke's Marketplace?
not Burke's. Up at Bomax.
Oh, you talking about Hiram Jackson? You say who would be up where?
At Bomax Lounge.
Oh, at Bomax. Yeah, she was the
Lighted by-
leader, the hostess.
Yeah, but
Lighted by.
and this guy would sing all the time. The older guy went her age. He sang jazz and blues like Jimmy Rushing, not Jimmy Rushing. Damn. But anyway, he was a salesman, our salesman too. I must call his name that Michigan Chronicle. Rita Griffin, did you know her? Remember her?
That name sounds very.
She was at the Michigan Chronicle in those days.
James Ingram? No, he was a
James
college.
Ingram. Well, I'm the one that got James Ingram started. He was Quincy Jones. He did that thing with Quincy Jones. James Ingram.
And then.
There is a James Ingram writer too. There is a James Ingram here right here.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. But I was thinking about. You said Lewis Martin was there.
No.
That's not who you're talking about.
And so anyway, LeBaron played. Guess who I saw today with Nancy Wilson, and the rest is history. Nancy Wilson drove all the way from Cincinnati.
That's where she used to live.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be in my store
Wow.
because of that.
Because you were selling her records like hotcakes.
We got it started. She wanted to meet me.
Oh.
She came in my store.
Yeah.
She had brought her brothers and sisters. The one that died brought all of them over there, and they were small. And she's gonna be an hour, but she stayed all afternoon because she enjoyed it. She signed autographs.
Yeah, she was signing records.
I got the pictures in the back there. I show you that with Nancy Wilson. And then now Lou Rawls, where I met Lou Rawls was because of Les McCann. See, West Coast music didn't sell back East Coast.
Okay.
Because Les McCann was West Coast music, the jazz.
Right.
And the people, when we opened the store, we want to have people in the store. So that when people come by from Cass.
Yeah, that's where I went. Cass
And
Tech,
Donna Ross' cousin, and let's say Paul Reiser, all those people used to come in the store every evening. And we would,
school.
yeah, and we would beg them to come in there because we wanted them to come in there because it looked like we had customers. And so if they in there, people look through the window, they'll come in and browse around. When they get in there, they don't see the music what I got, and they come back again.
Right.
And that's what we did thing. So one of these guys wanted.
This was during the Motown era. Was Diana Ross singing then?
No,
she was a high school.
She's in high school. She's at Cass Tech.
Right.
And so one of the cousins lived in Southwest Detroit. And so we started playing. They wanted to play this tune called "The Shout" by Les McCann, and we started playing the "Shout." It was a little bitty cut, and we got it on the radio. And then they started going so big back here, and so they decided to have Les McCann come in to promote.
Okay.
Promotion. So they take him around different clubs and things, biggest keyboard and whatever.
Right.
He got a gig here. They brought him back here. So Les McCann was like family, and he hung at the store all day. That's how, and so we got to be friends. I would take him around. He had a sister live on Justine. out there someplace, and I picked it up down here and drove all the way out there. And Les McCann, he's hilarious. You know, he in the car, he's crazy. And so, in fact, I'm trying to play piano too, because he told me, like, he didn't go to school to play piano. So you can play by feeling, and you can, but he went to school afterwards. Okay, and so now, him and Lou Rawls got to be friends.
Okay.
So Lou Rawls, they did the album Stormy Monday Blues. It was on television. Well, they just did part of it. When they finished that session in Chicago that night, they got on a plane and came here.
Okay.
And when I got to the store, Les McCann and Lou Rawls walking down the street. I didn't know who Lou Rawls was, never met him before. And Les McCann introduced him to us.
Okay.
They had just did the album. It's something new, Stormy Monday Blues. And, Les McCann is playing, and so anyway.
So you heard the record, but that night?
Yeah, I got the record over there. They brought it to me that morning, and they signed it. And then it says, they did Unsung about Lou Rawls not long ago, and they were showing about how they did it, Stormy Monday Blues, how they got together. Mm-hmm. So now they stayed in the store, and we played the record. We got it going. We got it on the radio for Les McCann and Lou Rawls, and we became friends. So when Lou Rawls come in town, we were like family. He come to my house for dinner. Les McCann come over. We were all together. And so when they came out with Tobacco Road, that wasn't a hit side. Okay. I'm sorry. That wasn't a hit side. The hit side was Blues for a 4-string guitar.
Really?
That's from a movie.
Oh, that's why.
Fred Wilson starred in the movie. The movie opened up downtown here. They had the red carpet out there just like they did in Hollywood. Yeah. They flew Les McCann in here. Lou Rawls in here because he sang the theme song in the movie.
I see.
So he was in and out of the store all day.
Mm-hmm.
And so that night when I closed up, Lou Rawls came in the store. He said, "Lee, what time you getting off?" I said, "I'm so. You getting off at a certain time, at 9 o'clock." Mm-hmm. He said, "Can you drop me where I'm going?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "Yeah." He's up on Dexter and Davidson. There's a black guy got a hotel. It's still there. I don't remember the name of it. It's still there. Lou Rawls was staying there. I live right down the street on West Grand, block and a half from where he was staying. And when I got him home, he said, "Hey, man," said, "what you gonna do now?" I said, "I'm going home, man." He said, "You got a record player?" Everybody didn't have a record player, don't they?
That's right.
I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, look, I want you to hear what I just did. I got some doves in here." He went in the hotel, came out with these big doves. You know how big they were.
There was like 10-inch, like
yeah,
a platter, yeah.
Right.
Record.
He had quite a few of those. He said, "This is what I just recorded. It's gonna be my next album." And he took it to my house, and we sit there and we played them. And he said, he played Blue for 4-string guitar. "I want you to hear this." He says, "What do you think?" I said, "Man, I don't know, man. It's pretty nice." He said, "This is what I saw today." He said, "Don't you hear them strings?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's a theme song from the movie I just did. You know, they don't give Big N that kind of power. Nat King Cole gets strings, but they don't give,
the normal.
Right. When they get ready to record, they got to record from whatever the label's doing, the song they doing.
Right.
And you got to sing these songs. They pick you what you got to sing.
Right.
So he says, and this is from the theme song. I've been here all day watching myself do this. I said, "You can see yourself?" He said, "No, I can see myself, but I'll be in the back and I hear myself on it going through the theme song." He was there all day, but just didn't listen to that. He was so thrilled. He said,
because of strings.
Right, and they giving him a movie.
Right.
And Fred Wilkins starred in the movie. So
did he play the other side for you?
I said, "I like the other side." He said, "Man, that ain't nothing. I was born, boom, boom, in the dump, boom, boom."
That's Tobacco Road?
Yeah.
Oh.
He said, "No, man, that ain't nothing." He said, "Because they didn't give me props." He said, "You only hear boom, boom." He said, "In the other record, you hear them strings."
Right.
So when the record came out, I had my girls play. I'm selling Tobacco Road.
Right.
Music was going live, they dancing, everybody came in and got Tobacco Road.
Ain't that something?
So while they was doing it, Rosalie called from CKLW. So I had gave my list of records for selling. I said, Rosalie, look, here's one you got to take a listen at. She said, what's that? I said, called Tobacco Road. It's playing that. She said, I never heard that. Who is it about? I said, about Lou Rawls. She said, he didn't do that. I said, yeah, just flip it over what you already got. And she did, and the rest of the history.
She put him on the radio. And he got famous for that. I never heard of the one
And
you said that he was in the movie.
then he called me, Capitol called me. They was mad because you can only play so many records of the city, right? So I already got Blues for String Guitar on the radio, or Lou Rawls. How many Lou Rawls can I put on? That means I got to take out one. Somebody, right? And that was confusion. So they got, I don't know who did eliminate. They finally, I don't know if they played both or what, but they played Tobacco Road and the rest of the history. I'm the one who got that on the radio, and that's the fact.
I see how.
Yeah, and I got pictures back there with Lou Rawls about Marley down there. That was just before he passed away because you know, he was on a promotion. They never given him a promotion that I know of before.
They didn't really respect his music, and he was
that's
a
what I'm
drug addict
saying.
to them.
It's big now. His son is bigger than he was at the time. You know, he had a few people, but they like he was like isolated. He never came through and did a big concert and everything. And that's how you know when they done something, when they do the concert. You take Aretha Franklin, biggest years. I mean, I don't recall her ever being in Ford Field. Do you?
She went to America Park. I think she did something there.
Well, she was there as a stand. She didn't do a concert.
Okay.
She was there for a benefit to sing the national anthem or something like that. Yeah. But I'm talking about like if Kid Rock come in town at Ford Field for one night, they got to give him 2 nights.
Right.
And the tickets are sold and within an hour when they go on sale, right?
That's right.
But you know, Aretha Franklin in town not long ago, and at the Fox Stadium, they were still begging her people to go out and there's tickets left. Am I right? They're still saying there's tickets left.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. We don't get to the PR that some of the others do. We just
so who is that up there? That's Natalie Cole?
That's Natalie Cole. That's Natalie Cole.
Did you sell any of her records?
Oh, yes. Yes. We the one who got her, you know, like she was on Capitol. And when the record usually, if Capitol got a release coming, I usually, a big truck would come in front of my store and bring all these records, a big 2-bed truck, a big bed truck. And because they want me to have them in the store, you got to have them in there. And see, that's the benefit of buying direct, and that's what they got you at. You have the credit, and so they're going to put it in there. If you have it, you might sell it. If you don't have it, you're not going to sell it.
So show us some more what you got here on the wall.
And this is Randy Crawford. I got her record playing Rainy Night in Georgia. She was always been a great singer, but she wasn't. Nobody knew who she was. And now that's history. People know who she was. She came in the store and she came to beat me, and she sent this picture back in a limo and wrote a sweet something up on the picture for me and gave it a big kiss.
I see the kiss. I see the lips.
I keep that forever, you know, because she was so grateful that I got it going for her, you know. And,
is that you?
right here?
Who's that?
That's me. Yeah.
That is you. Okay.
That's me. That's me. I got different looks, I guess. And that's Jacob, the movie star.
Hilton.
Yeah.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs.
Oh, he was in the store there?
No, he was at a club, and I walked in, and he came out and greeted me. He wanted to meet me. He wanted to take a picture with me.
He knew who you were. Okay.
Yeah, he knew who I was. I didn't, you know, I was really surprised. I was, you know, he wanted to meet me. Yeah.
Who is that in the right here?
Melba Moore. Melba Moore.
Oh, she was in this movie called Pearl. I mean, play called Pearly.
Pearly, right,
With Ossie Davis.
Right, Pearly,
All right.
And this is Patrice Rushen.
That little lady there?
Yeah, Patrice Rush.
Oh, wow.
And some of my employees, that's inside of my store.
Great.
And that's Niecy up here. Niecy, there.
What did she sing? That's talking about Black Butterfly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's her?
That's her.
Oh, she's a wonderful
That's
voice.
her.
She's the one in the fur coat?
Right, that's her in the fur coat.
Oh, okay.
And some of the other two are my employees there,
And that's at your shop?
At my shop. And that's the way they do. They bring around to meet me and take pictures and put it in a tray that shoot at Lee's store. And, and that's the way they get record stores. They can get in another store, and that's Tyrone Davis over there.
This guy, with the sunglasses?
Yeah, Tyrone Davis.
I'm going to have to come over here with my scanner. Okay. And you on? Okay, you say this is Freddie Hubbard,
Freddie Hubbard and Herbert Mann. And Frank Chaplin is there on the left there. He's a promotion man. And Freddie Hubbard, they both are legends,
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Hubbard came out with the tune called Breaking Point. And I should carry him around to different clubs and things. And at the club, we go to his hotel and we stay there all night talking. All night long talking. And he would come for dinner.
Is that Melba Moore again?
Melba Moore again. That's the Emotion. Remember the group called the Emotion?
Oh, yeah, they're the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to definitely get these.
That's Sammy Davis Jr.
Who's that on the right?
My ex-father-in-law and my ex-wife next to Sammy Davis.
Is that Camille?
That's Camille, yes. And that's Ron Banks, the dramatics up there.
Ron Banks.
Ron Banks.
I knew his brother Bill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill was in a play with me.
Okay. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with Ron Milner.
That's Stephanie Miller there.
Ron
Milner.
Little Stephanie. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Ron Milner, yeah.
Yeah, Ron Milner. He died.
I know. I got the thing. I'm going to put him up on the wall. I got the paperwork. I just haven't did so.
So who is that with Under the Flower?
That's, right there's my ex-wife and friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And who's this up here?
The Emotion again.
Oh, that's the Emotions. Okay, yeah, I see it's the same picture.
Yeah.
Nice. So there's anything you want us? Can you take a picture of his
just up here on the wall.
birthday greetings and stuff?
That's when I worked at the law department. You saw this, didn't you?
Oh.
Yeah, that's the resolution. I had a lot of those, but I'm moving around. I don't know what happened. It's like, you see what they said from Ashford and Simpson, and so I'm the one that got that started there. And Barry Wright wrote this for me. That's from Barry Wright.
Which one's from Barry White?
This one here.
Oh, okay. Annual Proclamation of Love Award.
Yeah, Barry White. In blue, baby blue.
And these pictures here, you're getting awards.
Yeah, that's getting this award.
Oh, okay.
I just put them all up there. That's one of each, all of them.
Okay.
But they have the whole site on that board and everything.
All right. Oh, look at Diana.
Yeah, I had that made into that like that. That was from a poster.
Okay.
That's Stephanie Miller. And back here. This is Nancy Wilson. I have to tell you about, guess who I saw today when she came in my store. This is in my store. It's Evelyn Champagne King. Let's see. His Lou Raw and my Florence Keywell I was telling you right by. Can you see that through there? Lou Raw and Nancy. That's Les McCann. That's what it was big. See Lou Raw? Oops. That's Ed Love.
Oh, look at young Ed Love.
Roland Kirk.
Rasan Roland Kirk.
Right here.
Yeah, he's gone now. He's passed on.
Gene McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
And me. Dizzy Gillespie.
Dizzy.
This is Florence. This is my mother. This is Florence Keywell. She got the cigarette holder. We had 20 grand. That's me. That's my ex-wife, Isabel. Let's see.
That you in a Cadillac right there?
What, right here? Yeah, that's the Corvair. But I had, let's see, you, this girl here, she's from Detroit. You probably know her. I can't think of her name now. There's Amanda Ambrose.
Doris Biscoe?
No, she's from Detroit though.
Okay.
She's a singer. And that's Herbie Mann. Let's see. Stephanie Mill. Cannonball Adderley.
Oh, you knew the Adderley Brothers?
Yeah, Here's Nancy again. Now this is me and that's Ted White. They did something about me about in the airplane or something like that. This is some of the pictures in the store. I just put these on like this because that's Johnny Mathis, Nancy Wilson in my store, Donald Byrd, Ozzie Matthews here, Oscar Peterson.
Oh yeah, that's a big star.
Gloria Lynn, Nancy Wilson again. This is Jerry West, basketball player, Jerry West. Les McCann, Bob Boozer, basketball player, and that's me. Jim Bad News Barn, Tom Hawkins, basketball player. Like I said, they all hung in this store. I just sent a picture. I got a lot of VCR on a lot of them, you know. And this interview they did with me a long time ago.
What paper is that from?
It was in a magazine. I don't remember. It was a magazine.
Disco and Nightlife Interviews, Lee Canady of Lee's Monroe Music.
And this is the Ghostbusters, Ray Parker Jr., Johnny Briscoe. It's just so many people up here that I just put them in snapshots like that and just kept them. It's all in my store. We done promotion. This is Paul Humphrey. He's the first black to play with Lawrence Welk. Only black ever played with Lawrence Welk. He's in California now. He's got old timers, and this is him up there playing. His daughter, the first black ever on Lawrence Welk show. That's his daughter on Lawrence Welk show there. You know, they just showed him old married Red Fox.
That's Red Fox. I've never seen him look that young.
And that's one of my Corvette. I had a silver anniversary. That's another one there. It's front of my store. And that's what the paper gave me, a whole page advertisement just for you.
I'm trying to get rid of the glares. The glare is...
That paper gave me a celebration. That's how big I was. Days Candy. There's always writing something about me in the paper stuff. This is inside of my store.
Yeah, it's too bad that this glare. You got shiny something on there. And
yeah, that shiny stuff. Yeah.
Oh, isn't that Cleo Lane over there at the end?
That's Cleo Lane, right?
Down here,
Cleo Lane,
with the fro. And
pretty pain right here.
Did you open a second store?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee's Monroe
Music too.
It's on the Avenue of Fashion.
That was just something that I had kept, you know, and like there was so much stuff that people gave me stuff and all these pieces, and I just couldn't keep everything, you know. And I just, when I had a big house, I had a basement, and I was gonna put it in there. And then since I moved, got rid of the house, I didn't want to just give this up because if I did, we couldn't be doing this.
Yeah, it's Horace Silver. Greg Perry.
Yeah, you know, you name it, they all came to me. That's what I was trying to say. Larry Wrigley, he's a bass player, and so many of them is not here anymore.
I see Anita Baker.
Yeah, and this guy here played with, I was best man with him, and he played with Harlem Globetrotters. I was his best man. You know who that is out there, Barnes?
Who is? Oh yeah, she had that partner. What was her name? Began with a D.
Yeah. And
Mildred. It was Mildred and Orthea.
That's me when I was driving cab. See that? I was in school. Right there.
You have another wall of pictures over here.
Yeah. And see, I just kept them, you know, and you know, ain't nobody with me. I just still
I see Lou Rawls up there.
Yeah, that's Lou Rawls, my employee. That's him. That's me and Nancy when she was nobody, in my store. So you can tell. All that's how we did promotion. That's in my store there. All's in the store.
There's Ray Parker Jr. in your
Yeah.
store.
Uh-huh. All that's in the store. So I hope this come out. But then I had a group called the Moniques. They're right here. Right here. That's at the 20 grand. And that's a write-up in a book about me, like that. Now here are the charts. These charts, you won't see black on these charts. The black you see up there is not black that we like. And that's Florence Kewell there with me.
Up at the top.
Right here, she got the cigarette holder right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just all inside the store there.
I see Stephanie Mills right there with the cowboy hat.
Yeah. I had so many pictures, some I just kept,
And the rest you just threw away.
Well, no, I just, I try to keep so many, they just got lost. It's just going out of business like I did, leaving all that. I just kept this for memories. I was doing it for myself. In my basement in my house, I had the fireplace, and it's a conversation piece. If people came over, what I'm trying to say? We get to talk about the 60s. Here, this is what happened, da-da-da. And that's pictures to prove it.
I see you got the mandrill.
Yeah,
I remember them. The mandrill right here.
See? There's a lot of people that contribute to this to get where we are today, and that's true, And it's just different nowadays.
Are you still on? Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to come back and do the.
Well, I'm just thrilled that I hope this come out right just back here because you have to do, but you might be able to do something with it. But I'm just glad to be here. I was a part of it. Now this is Johnny Bristow here. Now this is the guy who wrote "Someday We'll Be Together."
We'll be together.
Now someday we be together.
Yeah, remember that one?
Ain't no Donna Ross get that.
Yes, and then I see the blackbirds over there too.
Yeah, the blackbirds. They go out of town. Dr. Gatt, they stayed in contact with me. All the people.
That was so
they send me tickets and pictures or cards with the whatever. Useless teeth,
Oh yeah.
all that kind of things. It's a
away.
let up there. Look, Eustace gone.
Yeah, he died 3 months ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He called me Brother Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to. And saying those people, I hung with those people, back in the day. With your husband, too.
Yeah, Harold McKinney.
Harold, yeah.
How did you know Harold? How did you meet him?
Well, see, when you're in the jazz like that, everybody come. If they want a jazz record, where are they going to come? Well, catalog merchandise is. If you go to the mom and pop, they got to order it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it takes you a while. They come there, you be looking, you say, you can't be one thing, you see so many other things you got. And Harold was always in there. Yeah, I know Harold very well, And in fact, when they play, I'll be there in the audience there, They always have sets.
That's right. They have the jazz set.
Jazz sets. Odom
Where would you
Cage.
go to hear him?
Odom Cage or wherever he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Out there Barnes, wherever they're playing.
Yeah.
I would be there,
What about the Motown? Did you have any? Did you sell Motown records too?
Oh yeah, Motown. Well, Barry came and introduced himself to me because he had a record. If you want somebody to hear a record, who you gonna go to? Lead Monroe Music. I was mopping the floor, and he came in there and he wanted me to listen to some records. Had some 45s, and then he met me later. When the Temptation Supreme opened up to 20 grand, I was there.
Oh, okay.
I was there all the openings out because they sent out invitations.
Right, that's right. They wanted you there because you were
Right.
For people
See, and
to
I
come
was going
to.
with Miss Kewell. And I was her escort. And the people they know I was married. Some people thought you like you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I was always with her.
Right.
Wherever she go, because she wasn't going in those neighborhoods without me. You understand? Without somebody.
Oh, that's right.
See, and I was like her escort.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we hung out with Pete Hall and them. They go to after-hour clubs and things. Because she
yeah.
kind of had, like Pete anyway, you know what I'm saying? And Martha Jean the Queen.
Oh, yeah.
When she came here in the city tonight, she called me at my store. I don't know they know how to find you. She called me and she was trying to ask me about somebody. She's trying to connect with somebody, and she figured I might know.
Oh yeah.
And
You knew so
and
many
so, and
people.
that's how I met Martha Jean.
Oh,
And so we started running the same circle. You understand what I'm
okay.
saying? And so Pete Hall lived with Martha Jean for years.
Who's Pete Hall?
Pete Hall was he was a shrewd guy. He looked like he could be any. He real light, had nice hair. He could be Italian. He could be whatever. Be a businessman. But he was a football player, and he was tall, and yes, and I never forget. I went to Music Merchant back in the day. If you cuss over the phone, it was fine. Pete Hall was sitting in the office, feet on the desk, and calling people in California. He was a promotion man, and he had a way with people. And he came out with D. Edwards. I forget what her name. He did D. Edwards. He did Laura Lee. He recorded um, the Fabulous Peps. You remember them?
No. For my
Lee
time.
Rogers.
For my time.
Well, they was big in the day. In fact, here's the group right here. This right here was this group. This was called the Magic Tone.
Oh, okay. Wow.
A group called the Magic Tone, and they were singing locally. See, and so Pete Hall and Mike Hank, they was recording just like Berry Gordy was.
Oh, I see.
And so, in fact, Miss Kiwa liked Pete Hall, and she started putting her money into that thing with Roger Brown. Roger Brown was a football player for Detroit Lions. The Philly folks with Lombardi, they all played together back in the day, and so. Pete wanted to record records like Barry, so they could rent a place over here by Olympic Stadium, a house, borrowed money, soundproof it. Barry found out about it. He bought the building
Oh!
and told them they had to move.
Evicted him. He was something.
Yeah.
But
So
he was
I
a
was.
businessman.
He's a businessman. You got to be shrewd to be a businessman. You got to be
That's
shrewd.
That's how
It's a
Motown
matter of
made
business. You
it.
know what I'm saying?
He bought all his competitors out.
Yeah, and so he asked me, he came out with some jazz records. Like I said, we'd be there every night when they open up down there. And Norman Whitfield would hang at the store. He'd come to the store every day because his brother's mother would work at Hudson. Norman Whitfield's a songwriter, right?
Right.
Well, they hung at the store. And they want to be friends with us. And he had 20 grand and he had his Cadillac and stuff. You know, I had nice cars. I had 3 brand new Corvettes and Cadillac. I did that too, you know.
Right.
You're in that circuit.
Right.
And so, and like I said, and Pete Hall, they started recording, and then that's how we met Berry Gordy. We had a conflict with Motown. They had opened up a place called D-Town Records on the Boulevard, West Grand Boulevard, across the street from the 20 grand.
Oh.
And,
I thought the 20 grand was on 14th. And,
yeah, but they moved on the Boulevard in Woodward,
Okay.
right behind that Goodyear.
Oh, I know where you're talking about.
Here they moved
Grand,
up there.
Yeah.
It never was that big up there. They did move there. But anyway, and that's the way it was. So Barry, when Dinah Ross did downtown at Ford Auditorium, blacks don't usually go to Ford Auditorium. She did Dinah Ross there, and it was open at 12 o'clock at night. Got to be out of there. Barry had a party at the mansion over there.
Okay.
So he had a white policeman with a white hat and white gloves at 12 o'clock at night directing traffic. Okay? So we left the Ford Auditorium and went to
the
mansion and took our cars. He had it like
laid up.
Yeah, took our cars out and walked in. Barry met me at the door, told him I was there. He come in and shook hands, showed me around in the place. And anyway, he introduced me to Billy D. Williams.
You know, we got to come back because this sounds like
Yeah.
This is another, I really wanted to ask you more about Motown and your relationship.
Because he wanted me to he wanted me to decide on, because I knew about jazz.
Oh, I see. So he wanted to go break into jazz. Too.
Yeah, he had some albums.
All musicians were jazz musicians.
He wanted me to listen to his music, see what he said. I don't know nothing about jazz. What he said. I heard you know about jazz. That's what he told me.
Well, we're gonna have to come back and hear that story a little later.
All right, all right.
You can come back, right?
Yeah, you can come back anytime. I come there wherever, because we put it out and it could be something.
Yeah.
Because that's what it started for. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And
then because when I finish, I'm gonna come back. I want to tell you about the lady sang the blues. Billy did that, right?
Sure did.
And opened up downtown, right?
Yeah.
I was sitting right behind Berry Gordy and his daddy, his mom,
the whole crew.
And then Richard Pryor was so funny, and I laughed at my wife, F-boy me, and Richard Pryor stole the show.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll be back in touch.
Okay, anytime.
All right.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.